Excellent. So, friends, hello, welcome back. It's Sunday once again. Here we are at Town Hall, joined today by our very special teacher, Nathan. Thank you, Nathan, for being with us, and thank you to all of you for making space here today. You'll notice I have an ad up. It's for our spring residential meditation retreat with Lama Surya Das. It's March 5th through 10th this year, coming up. If you haven't been to an in-person retreat, I strongly encourage it. It's an incredible container for some really powerful practice. I, for one, am very excited to get back into the swing of in-person retreats. So I hope to see you there. And we also have a masterclass coming up. And I'll just put that up now. Yes, excellent. Oh, I can't see it. There we go. Masterclass 3, Session 5. It's on Saturday, January 21st, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This one's on devotion and wisdom, bhakti and jnana, two paths to and through the light. Love these little snippets of teachings where Lama can get sort of dive deep on a particular topic. I believe there's Q&A in those sessions too, so hope to see you there. Without further ado, we have Nathan teaching today. Thank you so much, Nathan. Take it away.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks, Menla. Thanks, everybody, for all you do with the Dzogchen Foundation. And so nice to see all of you here today, and so many familiar faces and new faces. So nice to be here. And today I thought I would reflect a little bit. Last week, we had a one-day retreat with Lama Surya. Saw many of you there. The theme was gratitude. And so I've been thinking about that, reflecting on Lama's teachings that week, and thinking a little bit about how to put some of those teachings into practice. So now basically my plan is to subject you all to my ramblings about that. And you know, this is pretty much a here's what I've stolen from the Lama for this week, and if it helps you, you know, steal it too. Go right ahead. So you know, the first thing that stands out to me from his session is really the benefits of gratitude. And I think we can all reflect on times where, you know, gratitude maybe naturally arose for us, and remember that experience, and remember a lot of those benefits, and the benefits of having an attitude of gratitude. But a couple things that he pointed out in particular were that gratitude can really help us get free from unhelpful attitudes. So it's a bit of an antidote to less helpful states of mind, including this sort of grass is greener on the other side, the comparing mind. Can also help lift us out of a scarcity mentality he talked about. So this idea that of not enoughness, of that we need to kind of cling to things and hang on to things. When we get gratitude rolling, we can get free of that a little bit. And that can help us foster generosity. And Lama placed gratitude with the first Panaceian virtue of generosity, and so there was a link there. And so it was all a wonderful reminder of you know, the benefits of gratitude, and that really stood out to me. But I'm a pretty practical and utilitarian type of person, so my question is always, you know, how do I do that? And kind of embedded in that is, I should start by saying it doesn't always come naturally to me, gratitude. There's many times, in fact, that if someone tried to convince me to be grateful about something, I'd probably be upset about that. I'd be pretty annoyed. Like, no, I'm not grateful about this. So I recognize that, you know, sometimes gratitude does just flow naturally. But sometimes it doesn't. And so I wanted to start off with just a quick reading from Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche. And I take it from, there's a bunch of different teachings in the Dzogchen Primer book, but one of the teachings from Tulku Urgyen is on devotion and compassion, but he also talks about gratitude. And he mentions that the teachings say that these should be unfabricated, but this doesn't happen automatically in the beginning. We need to cultivate them, to use some effort to produce these feelings. And Lama similarly mentioned something last Saturday, that faking it can be a raft to get you to where you're going. So for me, I find these two reminders very useful, because I always get some sense of, I don't know, a little bit of guilt or ineptitude that these things that are supposed to be natural and effortless and spontaneous are sometimes not at all natural or effortless to me, and especially in a given moment. These things are not welling up, but kind of a reminder of, yeah, if we need to row the boat a little bit instead of just floating gently down the stream, that's okay too. So, from there, it kind of leads us into what can we do to cultivate gratitude. And, one of the easiest ways to do this is just to bring to mind things that we are grateful for. And Lama gave the suggestion of, you might want to start off just bringing to mind the one maybe person or thing or event or whatever it might be for which you were most grateful. And just taking a moment to, if something comes to mind, just being very present with that experience. And sometimes nothing comes to mind, or things come to mind and it doesn't seem quite right. And I like to go back to just sort of a basic thing that's always there. Lama talked about this too. He talked about the preciousness of human life as a source for gratitude. And it reminds me of a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. This is his Heart of the Buddha's teaching, which is one of my favorites. But Thich Nhat Hanh has this quote: "When we look deeply, we see that life is a miracle beyond our comprehension." And so I like to take these quotes sometimes very literally, instead of starting down my own interpretation, which may or may not lead me any closer to anything that's useful. But just the fact that we're here is a miracle beyond literally our understanding, beyond what we can comprehend. So we can start with something like that. And then you might want to expand, thinking about things that might bring gratitude up as you ponder. I like to think of my ancestors. I like to think of my parents, my grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins, friends. I like to think of people that can think of many reasons to be grateful for, things they've helped me with, things they've supported me in. And maybe each time as you bring something new to mind or something new comes to mind, just taking a moment to really be present to the experience of gratitude, what it feels like. Or if you're not feeling very grateful, that's okay too. Just be very present maybe to that experience. I also like to think about our spiritual practice, our spiritual ancestors, our heritage, in our particular practice, or whatever practice it is that maybe you most identify with or most familiar with. And I like to start with Lama Surya when I think about this. And I always remember, I like to remember, I wasn't there, I don't remember, but recall his journeys around the world, fairly fresh out of college, traveling all around the world. I think about the time, the courage to go to all these places, to be in all these foreign lands and different places, the dedication and the skill to learn so much, and then not just to learn it, but to bring it back, and then to bring it back for us, to put it down in books, to take these, foreign concepts, these things that are not exactly, most of us probably not born into Dzogchen households where this was sort of, around the table type of conversation, and to take these concepts, to make them relatable, make them something that we can access here in the West. And then, of course, thankful for his teachers, all the folks that gave him time, and for all the effort they put into developing their own wisdom and their capacity to teach. And of course, their teachers' teachers, and everyone kind of going back up the line who's kept this light on over the centuries so that the light would still be on when we are here for us to discover. And sometimes I have this, I get a feeling of gratitude. I'm not real sure exactly who or what to address that thankful energy to. And Lama gave this tip of maybe you just want to look up and say thank you. And then a tricky one, maybe it could be possible to cultivate gratitude for ourselves. Sometimes a trickier one. But we have, some practice, some sort of path, some tips, some tricks, some skills that benefit us. And somehow we've been exposed to these tips and tricks and to these teachings. So of course we can be thankful for having the good luck, the good fortune, the good karma, however you like to think about it, to have been exposed to these practices. But also taking a moment to be thankful for ourselves for not just getting a taste of maybe these things, but really for being here today, for practicing. Not just reading a book one time and sticking on the shelf and going about our life with our usual habits, but showing up here. Timo likes to say quite often, it's not a small thing. It's not a small thing to show up, to be here. So we're here practicing, and of course, as I look at the tiles here today, it's difficult not to be grateful for this Sangha, for all of you showing up, for the Dzogchen Foundation, for putting on the events they do, for these town halls, which have just been such a light when we haven't been able to get in person, and then even as we move back to being more in person, still incredible that we're able to get together. I'm beaming in from Kansas City. I know you all are scattered throughout the globe. Here we are. So that's pretty fortunate. I definitely feel fortunate now to be here. So with maybe an attitude of gratitude, maybe not. Either way, We'll ring the bell, sit for a bit, and do some Q&A at the end. So let's see what happens. Alex, could I have the prayer on page 4? Thank you. Sanjay chodang soki chognam la jangchu bardu dagni kapsu chi dagi jinso gi pe sonam ki drola penshir sanjay drupar sho. In Buddha, Dharma, and supreme spiritual community, we go for refuge until fully enlightened. By the power of all 6 perfections, from generosity to non-dual wisdom, for the sake of all beings, may we realize Buddhahood. And now, just get comfortable. If you need to rearrange in your seat, shuffle, grab a sip of coffee, whatever. Just sitting, just breathing, just being, just sitting, just arriving, taking the moment to become really present. Maybe bringing some awareness to your body, to the sensations of just sitting. And just breathing, natural breath. No need to breathe in any special way, just letting the breath come, letting the breath go. And natural heart and mind. It's bringing an awareness to what's going on in the world of thoughts and feelings. No need to block out thoughts or try to hold on to some thought or try to create some feeling or experience for right now. Just noticing. So the instructions are pretty straightforward, just sitting, just breathing, just being. But for me, the just part is not as maybe self-evident as it should be. The just means nothing else. We don't need to add anything to it. It means at least for right now, we've got nothing to figure out, nothing to become. Just allowing things to be exactly the way that they are. But the fine print of being very present. Being attentive. Quite often, one of the first things I notice when I sit down to just sit and just be, then just breathe and just be, is sort of a ranking, a wanted and unwanted sort of thing of, oh, I feel relaxed, that's good, or still thinking about what I was working on yesterday and it's still playing in my mind. That's not good. But it's all it. It's all part of the show. And again, at least for right now, we can just watch it. Sometimes I'll say to myself, I don't care what comes up. I don't care what happens. I'm just going to watch it. Because otherwise, I will start ranking. So for now, just letting things be exactly as they are. So just resting, allowing, but fully present. Just being right here and right now. And if you'd like, you can join me in a restart. Maybe take a refreshing breath. Get comfy again. Move around if you need to. Start fresh. So the great thing about this practice is you can't miss. So whatever experience it is that you've been having or that you're about to have, if you're whatever's going on in your internal dialogue about that experience, about I should be feeling this or that, no need to feel any special way or have any special experience. Just taking everything in, just watching it all go by, just present to everything. So we start all over by just sitting. Bringing awareness to our body, bringing awareness to our breath, just breathing, not breathing any special way. Bringing awareness to our heart and mind. Just noticing. Really tuning into what it's like to experience things right now. What's the experience like? you're feeling resistance to something, sometimes just tinkering around with a little curiosity about it could help. Just taking an interest, just kind of setting the intent to pay attention, not to figure anything out, not to transform anything, not to become something. Just being fully present and accounted for. And how about another restart, another refresh? If you'd like, you can join me in a breath. Another reposition, a stretch. Breaking it up, starting new. Keep a beginner's mind, anticipating what we're going to experience or not experience, but just the freshness of this moment, just tuning into that, seeing what's playing on the screen right now. Not worrying about changing the channel, pushing record, just checking it out, getting comfortable, aware of our bodies, aware of our breath, aware of our heart and mind, aware of our thoughts and our feelings, perceptions, any concepts that are coming up. Just aware, meaning we don't need to analyze or label. Just moment to moment, just noticing what comes and what goes, taking it all in. As we start to get near the end of our meditation, sometimes it can be useful to consider the moments throughout the day when we're not on the meditation cushion or recliner, cozy chair, whatever we might be. It might be worth checking out if this approach of just leaving things as they are and just noticing things, maybe it doesn't create a little space between whatever comes up and the moment when you decide whether you need to react or how to react. This skill, this practice of just seeing things exactly as they are, see things come up. It's not just limited to meditation time or time that we specifically mark as being a spiritual practice. It's all it. Everything we encounter provides us this opportunity. Everything's the perfect teaching. Everything that we encounter, it's a chance to just see things exactly as they are. Then it gives us some agency, some ability to respond in a skillful way if we choose, or not respond at all to whatever might come up. You might find that some of the things that come up, if not most of the things or all of the things that come up, you don't really choose. Sometimes the mind just chooses to supply this laugh track, or sometimes maybe more of a horror movie or whatever it is that our mind decides to display, but we can just kind of check it out, right? We have that option. So a little bit to end where we began, thinking about things that I'm grateful for. I'm so grateful for this practice and for this message of naturalness and the instruction on natural meditation. It's very peaceful to sit here and have this time. It's also quite practically useful in quote unquote real life and day to day. Incredibly practical and useful. So I'm very grateful for that. One thing I'm reminded of, I've got a sticky note here because I don't remember this very well for myself, but oftentimes when Lama Roger leads a session, at the end, he'll invite us to look back on the meditation, look back on the experience, and just take a moment to recall, see if there's anything we'd like to note or remember. Thinking back maybe on things that made us feel grateful, on ways maybe we found that work for us to cultivate that. Any insights we may have had, or just letting things be. Maybe of any intention we have to keep that attentive attitude, that intention and attention going throughout this day and all of our time. Alex, can we see the prayers on page 13, please? We'll dedicate the merits of our practice. Gewa di nordu dak zogpa chenpo drub journey drowa chi kyang malupa dei sala go parsho. Through this virtue, May we swiftly realize and fully embody the natural great perfection, and thereby bring all, without exception, to its complete realization. Jangchub Senchok Rinpoche, Make Panam Ke Gyur Chik, Ke Pa Nem Pa Me Pa Yong, Gone Gondu Pelwar Sho. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably, until all are illumined and awakened. Can we do Nosho Kenpo's dedication prayer on the next page? And we'll do Lama Surya's Millennium Prayer too. Through the merit of this, may the light of the Buddha's precious teaching remain for ages to come, the ground for every single kind of benefit and happiness. May all the supreme holders of the teachings, who uphold its living truth, accept to live for aeons, and their lotus feet stand firm. And so may the sun of altruism and well-being, in all its blazing splendor, shine the brilliant light of the study and practice of Buddha Dharma throughout every corner of the universe. May all beings everywhere, with whom we are inseparably interconnected, and who want and need the same as we do, may they be awakened, liberated, healed, fulfilled, safe, and free. May there be peace and harmony in this world, and an end to war and violence, poverty and hunger, inequality and oppression, greed and cruelty, pandemics, famine, droughts, earthquakes, all kinds of natural disasters. May all be free from fear, harm, danger, anxiety, and insecurity. And may we all together complete the spiritual journey, one beloved community, one circle, one family, all the way home. And I bow to all of you Buddhas. Thank you so much for your practice, for joining today, for letting me hold down the fort. If anybody wants to chat, any questions to Alex, or raise your hand, we do have some time for some Q&R, or just share an experience and insight. Anything at all.
Nathan, wonderful. That was so amazing. So as teachers, we know how important wait time can be for questions to sort of stir up and come out. So maybe in that moment, while some of those questions are churning, I'm interested in your process in working with some of these concepts that don't come that are said to arise naturally, but that for some reason aren't quite there. I loved that you brought that up. I experience that often in my practice and in my life, and not having a sense of sort of guilt around that or something like, oh, I should be feeling right some way is so important. And so I was just wondering if you might share a little bit more of this really clear way that you work through these things, starting right with like a quote or a teaching and then building on that. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, well, it's a great thing. I think, the first thing is, you've got to notice that you've got this sense of I should be doing something different, right? My experience should be different than it is, because that's just it too, right? Like this resistance to what is, that's part of it. And so just bringing attention and awareness to the fact that I feel like I should be grateful and I'm not, right? Sometimes that alone, just really acknowledging that, sometimes goes a long way. And sometimes there's a danger, even in something like gratitude, maybe of a little bit of spiritual bypass, right? Of I want to ignore what it is that I'm experiencing, and because I should just sort of elevate to this, really awakened, free, open, spacious place, and all is well. And of course, on one level, everything is okay, but it may not feel very okay, right? That's what you're describing here, I think. I don't feel very much like that. So yeah, I think just not really getting the idea that we need to always be feeling positive, or that we need to always be in a positive mind state, or always have things be super clear. It's okay if things are unclear and unsettled, and we feel like we're doing it wrong. So that's one part of it. The other thing is a little more analytical, but I oftentimes like to look at, who specifically is telling me I'm not doing it right, right? And you could say like the ego or something like that, but oftentimes I can hear a specific voice, right? That goes back to when did I pick up this particular habit of thinking I need to do this way? And then oftentimes I find that as I do that, it started off as a way to maybe protect me, keep me safe from something, from feeling a way I didn't want to feel, from experiencing something I didn't want to experience. And then a lot of times I find it's true if you just look and say, I don't really need that right now, so I can let that go, right? Maybe that served me well at a time, but right now I don't need to engage in that. That's kind of the spaciousness of just seeing that gap between when you see what pops up and how you react to it, rather than just dive in. I see Terry has a question or a comment here about the ranking of the thoughts and any more to add to this. That's I always find I'm keeping score, right? Like keeping for what, I don't know, right? trying to be a perfect meditator, trying to have the best meditation, trying to have the right experience. So everything that comes up gets filtered through this rancor of like, well, that's what I should be doing, but that's not, right? Yeah, it's just kind of automatic. And of course, ranking can be pretty useful. And a lot of these skills, sometimes it feels like our analytical mind or our ranking mind is something like an enemy. But it just is what it is, right? That's just kind of how the mind works. The mind takes these things that we experience and tries to make sense of things and tries to order and in my case, at least some others seem to maybe feel this way, rank, judge. That's okay. The mind can rank all at once, but we maybe don't need to believe it, right? We maybe don't need to move forward and say, well, yes, that was good, and I was not doing good here. It's like maybe we can create that space where we decide how we react to the ranking. I find trying to resist the ranking is not helpful. It's not super useful. So I just kind of roll with it. It's like rank away. That's the movie that's playing right now is the ranking movie. So I'll watch that for a while. Yeah.
I love that. So I see Glenda's hand is up. We could do maybe one more. I'm noticing we have about 2 more minutes. So
Perfect.
hi, Glenda. Oh, hold on. There you go.
Thanks, Alex. And I want to thank Nathan. Nathan, I love how honest you are. That is so beautiful. If anyone doesn't know, he also leads sometimes Saturday in our weekly, daily Dzogchen meditation. But anyway, way to go, Nathan. But what I love about this type meditation that Lama Surya has taught us is then as I watch the thoughts come and go, then when I'm not meditating, I'm more apt to be aware of what my mind's doing. Now, with that said, then this rote stuff occurs, for example, about that everything's grist for the mill, or how can I see that as good, right? How is that good? Or for the highest benefit of all. But for example, I couldn't make this $10 credit card payment to keep this credit card going, right? Could not go online and do it. And I thought, well, I didn't realize what was going on. I thought, well, that's a stop in the flow. I was aware of enough of that. But then I went into the bank to actually make the $10 payment. And when I was sitting there in the bank, it came to me why this wasn't flowing. I had a judgment. I'd made a judgment about this bank manager. And that had not cleared. The unconscious or the higher Buddha nature for me is bringing this stuff up for me to look at, and are they Buddha or not, or how to resolve it, read through it. But oh, it's brilliant. This is brilliant how thoughts are for our highest good.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. As a former banker, I'm the banker I'm sure is super well intended. So
Yes,
on behalf
always.
of all bankers, but interesting observation. I think we all have that feeling of I'm not in it, right? I'm not in the flow. It isn't flowing. But something to maybe just check out and see if it's true is I think it might be always flowing, right? We may not feel that way, but
Right.
I don't think we can stop the flow if we wanted to.
No, but the flow was bringing me a judgment to look at. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, the flow bring up all sorts of things, right? Absolutely. Well, thank you all for your time and practice. This has been great fun. So have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Nathan. In the theme of gratitude, check out the chat. There's so many grateful comments to you. Thank you for teaching. Thank you, friends, for being here on a beautiful Sunday. Don't forget to check out our signing up for our week-long in-person spring retreat. Don't forget to donate, be a member, and show up for our masterclass. Our beautiful Lama needs our support, and so do these excellent teachers. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, everybody. I'll catch you next week.